Sign up to get our new weekly column as a newsletter. We're looking back at the strongest, smartest opinion takes of the week from CNN and other outlets. CNN, King Canute got a bad rap. The Viking chief who ruled England, Denmark and Norway in the 11th century became infamous for a stunt that historians believe was misunderstood, if it even happened, sitting grandly in a throne at the seashore and ordering the ocean to stop the incoming waves. But the myth of the leader who tried to hold back the tide seemed to apply this week to the President of the United States. George Floyd died on Memorial Day, his neck under the knee of a police officer. In the 3 weeks since, protests against police abuses have sparked a swift and searching national conversation about racism. Cities and states have moved to ban chokeholds and create new safeguards against police misconduct. Companies large and small have committed to changes in the way they work, and in some cases, have replaced executives. Military leaders have spoken out forcefully against racism and shows of force against peaceful protesters. Networks canceled shows built around police as heroes. A Robert E. Lee statue in Richmond, Virginia, was toppled. And NASCAR banned the Confederate flag. Dare we believe, asked Marcus Mabry, that this is the moment when America finally changes? The trauma of 400 years of soul-destroying racism is not easily forgotten. Some researchers believe it is imprinted in our very DNA. And we're all too cognizant of the dashed promises of the past, from liberation to Reconstruction to the civil rights movement. But change does come. History teaches us that. It came to South Africa. It came to the American South. Is this our moment? Van Jones wrote, "This sudden, mass realization, and the multiracial demonstrations that give it weight, life and substance, feels like a miracle to me. As a black man, I have spent my entire life trying to convince relatively small numbers of white people to take racial injustice seriously. I have usually failed. Now major corporations are making my argument for me. Hundreds of thousands of white protesters are risking their lives in the middle of a pandemic to chant Black Lives Matter. And I have begun to believe that, just maybe, the world for my 2 black sons might actually be a better place." Yet with the ground shifting all around him, Donald Trump refused to be drawn into the national mood. Instead he stuck to his "law and order" message and even tweeted that the incident of a 75-year-old protester who suffered a head injury when he was pushed by police might have been part of a setup. He seemed to want to turn back the clock to the days of his youth, when social unrest enabled Republican politicians of the 1960s to gain favor with frightened white voters. On one point though, Trump bent to criticism, rescheduling the date of his first rally since the pandemic began.